It's a magical time of year here in Michigan. One of my favorite drops of the year is starting to make its way around to the local liquor stores because it's largely done as single barrels. Detroit City is releasing their Honey Barrel finished single barrel bourbon. And we're going to talk about one of the picks. Roll that intro. Hey guys, welcome back to T-Rod Whiskey. I am your host, T-Rod. This is the internet's most okayest whiskey review channel. I appreciate you guys swinging by, just like I also appreciate that you're going to go hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And, maybe you're also going to go leave a comment down below if you're into that sort of thing. So, I'm excited, guys. One of my favorite annual releases is from a very local distillery around here in Michigan, Detroit City Distilling. So they have a Honey Barrel finished bourbon that comes in at 116 proof. Okay. And usually they are barrel picks like this one from Smokey Joe's or this year's from Harper Liquor Land. And there's a bunch of different barrels that get released, but specifically, we're going to look at this one. This is from this year, from 2025, and I was actually present when the samples were tasted and they elected to pick the barrel, so I kind of feel like I participated just like a smidge. I'd give myself 3% credit. An argument can be made for 4, but I love these. I think DCD, Detroit City, I think DCD probably does Honey Barrel Bourbon better than maybe anybody else in the game. I mean, here's the deal, guys. I'm a fat guy. I like whiskey. I like honey.
Just like Winnie the Pooh.
I mean, in general, I like sweet stuff. Okay? And this whiskey is definitely right in my wheelhouse. So, like I said, 116 proof. This one comes in at 3 years, 10 months. So I know there's a lot of age statement, like whores out there, right? And I'm definitely one of them to a point. But I also believe that you can get a pretty good whiskey right around that 3.5 to 4 year range. Now, some people are going to say, oh, wow, the honey barrels, it helps to mask some of the imperfections in the whiskey. I don't know how true that is or is not. All I know is that the end result is definitely pretty good. The bourbon is finished in honey barrels that are used to age honey sourced from local farms and rooftops and whatever within the Metro Detroit area. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our handy dandy Glencairn here. We're going to give it a little taste, see how it goes. So one of the great things that DCD does with these single barrels is they give you tasting notes on the side. So it kind of gives you an idea what you're in for if you have to buy it without tasting it. So their notes: fragrant wildflower and honeysuckle tea aromas lead to rich notes of caramel corn and toffee on the palate. Toasted oak adds depth, while black pepper rye spice brings a lively finish with a hint of lingering sweetness. So I remember when we were tasting the samples, and I definitely pulled out that honeysuckle note for sure. So I know that's in there. I really enjoy the gold wax, but I'll tell you what, man, some of these are easy to get open. Some of them are just not so much. But either way, I really like DCD. They've been putting out some good stuff recently. They're one of the more prominent distilleries in Michigan right now. I don't know what their distribution is outside of the state. I know through the Midwest, there's probably a little bit. I don't think there's a ton nationally, but I know that they're looking to change that. So that's a little bit of background. DCD's been in operation for going on like 11 years now. 8 friends decided to start a distillery up back in 2014. They started distributing in 2016, so their stocks were only a couple of years old. They actually occupied the old Strohs beer factory. So some of you six-pack Charlies out there are probably very familiar with that brand. But here we go. We got our whiskey in the glass. So cheers all. So yeah, there's definitely like not herbal, but like a floral, like that honeysuckle note is definitely there, but I also get like a little bit of an orange blossom note off of this. Caramels and wood sugars come through on the nose really, really well here. Now, I will say, for something that's less than 4 years old, zero youthiness on the nose. Okay, the nose is actually very delightful. It's floral, it's sweet, it's inviting, it pulls you in. Like, I actually there's a company that works with them that makes candles that smell very similar to their whiskeys, and those are fantastic. I will put a link to those. It's Bella June, but I'll put a link to that down below. So definitely check those out as well. But yeah, floral honey, honeysuckle, yeah, that orange blossom, woody, but just kind of that honey sweetness overall. So I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but that's just super viscous. I don't know if that's a characteristic or a trait that comes through from the honey barrel finishing, but this tends to coat really, really well. This is actually my second bottle of this because, well, I really like it. So I got two, which is pretty cool, because last year I only grabbed one of the single barrel pick, and I wish I had grabbed more. And so now I'm just kind of sipping on the other one, babying it. Okay. Definitely get that rye note. I don't get a ton of pepper, but like a rye bread with like a honey drizzle on it. Absolutely. Maybe like I don't know, I want to say like a vanilla spread kind of. It's not cake frosting. It's not nearly that sweet, but that's kind of in there. If I had to describe it, like rye toast with drizzled organic honey. There's also like a little bit of like an herbally black tea kind of note that I'm getting. Just all traditional bourbon. What the hell is a burble? Bourbon sweetness. Vanillas, caramels, toasted oak, a little bit of barrel char there. That black tea quality that I mentioned just a second ago. You know, this is not the most complex thing in the world, but it's just complex enough where it's going to keep you interested for a little while. It's going to keep pulling you in, you know, begging to be dissected, to just be pulled apart, which is great, because I love taking an ounce and a half pour and just sitting around, maybe watching a game, checking out a baseball game or something, and just trying to pull different tasting notes and nosing notes out of a glass. Lingering sweetness I definitely get. I'm not getting any toffee on this, but that could be my palate. Again, it's very specific, right? Tasting whiskey is an extremely personal experience. It's different from person to person. I know some people that say that this stuff will, you know, never be any good until it hits like 7 or 8 years old. Those people are called a-holes. I think it's very good as it is, you know, and I have a number of these bottles, you know. The regular 100 proof shelf bottle of this is their Honey Barrel Reserve. And this one's good. This one's just a tad bit sweeter. This tastes like straight up McDonald's, like the little honey dipping cups that you get with your McNuggets. That's what the regular 100 proof reserve is like. But the single barrels is where the honey finish really, really tends to shine. Like I said, I've got 2 or 3 of these. They're very good. I plan on picking up another one if and when I can find another barrel that's hanging around, because I can't get enough of this stuff. So if I'm going to assign a grade to this, I know this has been kind of a brief review. Like I said, there's not a whole ton to dive into in terms of its depth. It does what it does, but it does it very well. It does it very concisely. It's a well-crafted bourbon. Lots of people are doing barrel finishes. I don't think for a second that DCD is trying to hide any flaws in this bourbon. I think they were trying to do something different and unique in the space. And I can appreciate that, because the market's kind of become flooded with more and more of the same thing. So when I have the opportunity to find something that's distilled in-house, okay, finished with locally sourced barrels, so, you know, honey from rooftop hives in Detroit or farms in or around the Metro Detroit area, hey, that's a win. And when it's like $60 for a single barrel, how many single barrels can you get for less than $75 today? Go ahead, I'll wait. There's like 5 that I can think of off the top of my head, and one's Old Pepper, the other's Old Scout. So Honestly, guys, it's a great buy. If you have the chance to get one of these, you're traveling in Michigan, stop and check out Harper Liquor Land. They have a ton of picks there. I believe they do still have some of this one. I might actually have to go get a third bottle the way this is going. But yeah, sweet, approachable, punchy enough to kind of hit my sweet spot of proof, which is like 110 to 115. It's not going to take your hair off or anything. I would give this to a, semi-beginner drinker, or I would even give it to a seasoned bourbon drinker, whiskey drinker that was looking for something different. This is definitely one of my favorite summer pours just because of the sweetness. But giving it a score, solid 7 out of 10. I think it's pretty good. 7 out of 10. Would I buy another one of these? Absolutely. I'm trying not to score it too high because I know I did kind of say that I'm a fan of these guys. It's cheap. It's available. The store, like literally 2 miles down the road, has these. So yeah, we're going to stick with a 7 out of 10. I think I'm trying not to bias myself here, but they're good. I like the product. I like the presentation. I like their marketing shtick, but hopefully we'll have some more of this stuff on the channel. I've definitely been getting more and more into DCD as the months have gone on this year. Definitely been getting more exposure to it. So keep your eyes peeled, man. But until next time, cheers.